world like a ton of bricks. Irv Gotti, the man who built Murder Inc., was gone. Dead at 54, the music industry mourned. But one name stood out for a different reason: 50 Cent. Instead of offering condolences, 50 took to Instagram. His post? A picture of himself, grinning, puffing on a cigar. Next to him, a tombstone. "I'm smoking on that Gotti pack," the caption read. "Nah, God bless him, LOL. The internet exploded. Fans and critics dissected the post. Some called it cold-hearted, disrespectful. Others saw dark humor, a final jab in a feud that spanned decades. The tombstone, the smirk, the LOL. This wasn't mourning, this was victory. This was 50 Cent, a man built on controversy, reveling in the moment. He was closing a chapter, on his terms. The comments section became a battleground. Some fans defended 50. He kept it real, they argued. They hated each other. What did you expect? Others were disgusted. Too soon, they wrote. Let the man rest. Fellow rappers chimed in, some condemning, some applauding. The post became a Rorschach test. It exposed the fault lines in how we deal with death, rivalry, and the public personas we create. Irv Gotti hadn't been well. Diabetes plagued him for years. Then came the stroke in 2024, a warning shot he barely survived. His family kept the details private, but the streets whispered. Gotti was vulnerable. His death, though sudden, wasn't entirely unexpected. It felt like the end of an era. The era of Murder Inc., of Ja Rule, of that early 2000s sound. And of course the era of his bitter feud with 50 Cent. The beef between 50 Cent and Irv Gotti was the stuff of legend. It was a feud that would span decades, influencing the hip-hop scene and captivating fans and media alike. The animosity between these two figures wasn't just a simple disagreement, it was a clash of egos, ambitions, and street credibility. It started, as these things often do, with a whispered accusation. Rumors began to circulate, whispers in the dark corners of the music industry, suggesting that something was amiss. These whispers would soon grow into a roar, setting the stage for one of the most infamous rivalries in hip-hop history. The year was 1999. The streets of New York were buzzing with the sounds of hip-hop, and the culture was thriving. It was a time of great change and even greater opportunities. But beneath the surface, tensions were simmering, waiting for a spark to ignite them. Ja Rule, Gotti's golden boy, was robbed. This wasn't just a random act of violence, it was a calculated move that sent shockwaves through their camp. Ja Rule was at the peak of his career, and this incident threatened to derail everything they had worked for. The culprit, rumored to be an associate of a then unknown rapper named 50 Cent, Gotti was furious. This wasn't just about the robbery, it was about respect and power. 50 Cent, who was just starting to make a name for himself, was now on Gotti's radar, and not in a good way. He saw it as a personal attack, a violation of his code, and he vowed revenge. This was the beginning of a vendetta that would see both men go to extraordinary lengths to outdo each other. It was a battle for dominance, a fight for the top spot in a world where only the strongest survive. And so the stage was set for a rivalry that would define an era. The feud escalated quickly. What started as a war of words soon spiraled out of control, taking a dark and violent turn that no one could have predicted. The hip-hop community, known for its lyrical battles and competitive spirit, was about to witness one of its most infamous rivalries explode into real-world violence. 50 Cent, never one to back down, released Your Life's on the Line. This track wasn't just another song, it was a declaration of war. The lyrics were sharp, the delivery was fierce, and the message was clear. 50 Cent was not afraid to call out his enemies by name. The track sent shockwaves through the hip-hop world, and fans knew that this was just the beginning. The diss track was a direct hit at Gotti and Ja Rule. The streets were buzzing. Conversations in barbershops, street corners, and online forums were dominated by the escalating feud. Fans took sides, and the tension was palpable. The hip-hop community was divided, and everyone was waiting to see what would happen next. Then came the violence. A brawl at the Hit Factory studio in 2000 left 50 Cent with stab wounds. The incident was a stark reminder that the stakes were real, and the consequences could be deadly. The studio, a place meant for creativity and collaboration, had become a battleground. The news spread like wildfire, and the hip-hop world was in shock. How had things gotten so out of hand? The attacker? Black Child, a rapper signed to Murder Inc. The police were called, charges were filed. The legal battles that followed only added fuel to the fire. The courtroom became another arena for the feud, with both sides determined to come out on top. The media coverage was relentless, and fans watched every development with bated breath. The rivalry had gone from wax to blood. What started as a lyrical battle had turned into a violent confrontation, leaving scars that would last a lifetime. The hip-hop community was left to grapple with the fallout, questioning how far was too far. The feud between 50 Cent and Murder Inc. would go down in history as a cautionary tale of how quickly things can escalate when words turn into actions. Over the years, the feud simmered. There were periods of relative calm, but the embers never died. 50 Cent, a master of provocation, would take shots at Gotti in interviews, on songs, even on social media. Gotti, for his part, rarely missed an opportunity to belittle 50's success or question his street credibility. It was a battle for hip-hop supremacy, but it was also deeply personal. Curtis Jackson, better known as 50 Cent, has always been a figure who courts controversy. His unapologetic demeanor and unfiltered opinions have made him a polarizing figure in the entertainment industry, but perhaps nothing exemplifies his unrepentant stance more than his actions following the death of a longtime rival. Even in death, 50 Cent couldn't let go. The funeral was a somber affair, filled with tears and heartfelt eulogies. Yet amidst the mourning, 50 Cent's presence loomed large, not physically, but through the digital realm. His Instagram post was a testament to that. In a world where social media often serves as a platform for condolences and tributes, 50 Cent chose a different path. His post was not one of sympathy or respect, but rather a stark reminder of the animosity that had defined their relationship. Some might call it heartless. The reactions were swift and varied. Many were shocked, unable to comprehend how someone could harbor such resentment even after death. The disapproving looks and comments flooded in, painting a picture of a man who seemed incapable of forgiveness. Others might see it as brutal honesty. There were those who defended him, arguing that 50 Cent was merely being true to himself. In a world full of facades and pretenses, his brutal honesty was a breath of fresh air to some. They saw his actions as a reflection of his unwavering commitment to authenticity, no matter the cost. Either way, it was pure 50 Cent. His confidence, his laughter, his unyielding stance, all of it was quintessentially him. He had built a career on being unapologetically himself, and this was no different. He never backed down from a fight, even when the opponent was 6 feet under. The metaphorical boxing match continued, with 50 Cent throwing verbal jabs and maintaining his combative spirit. It was as if the rivalry had transcended the physical realm, continuing in the echoes of his words and actions. His response, though shocking, was ultimately unsurprising. For those who knew him, this was just another chapter in the saga of 50 Cent. His life had been a series of bold moves and controversial decisions, each one adding to the legend of his unrepentant persona. It was a stark reminder of the depth of their animosity, a feud that even death couldn't extinguish. The black and white photos of heated discussions and arguments served as a poignant reminder of the intensity of their feud. It was a rivalry that had defined both their lives, and even in death, it seemed, it would continue to cast a long shadow. The rivalry between 50 Cent and Irv Gotti will forever be etched in hip-hop history. It was a feud that transcended music, fueled by ego, respect, and ultimately violence. It shaped the careers of both men, casting a long shadow over their legacies. In death, as in life, Irv Gotti couldn't escape the specter of their rivalry. And 50 Cent, true to form, had the last word.